Hello and welcome to class at Learning Base Africa. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing great. So welcome to Mental Math class. If you're new to this channel, make sure you click the subscribe button right now. So I'm waiting. I will count 1, 2, 3. So smash the subscribe button. Then like this class because this class is an interesting one. It's amazing. So what are you going to learn this evening? You're going to learn what we know as multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. So firstly, you need to learn what powers of 10 are. So what are powers of 10? These are numbers that are 10 raised to power 1, like you say. You have powers of 10. They are numbers that can be gotten when you multiply 10 by itself in several ways. Okay, powers of 10 are numbers that can be gotten when you multiply 10 by itself in several ways. So let's start with the simplest one. So now the first one is 10. Okay. The next one is 100. I'll start this way. The next one is 1,000. We can have 10,000, 100,000, million, and so on. So you can have 10 million, you can have 100 million, okay, 1 billion, 10 billion, and so on. So let's make do with this. Now, what is 10? 10 is just the same thing as you're saying 10. And it also means 10 raised to power 1. Okay. Now the next one is 100. 100 means 10. That means 10 raised to power 2. Okay, because it has 2 zeros. 10 has only 1 0. 100 has 2 zeros. So 100 is 10 raised to power 2. So what about 1,000? 1,000 has 3 zeros. So that means 10 multiplied by itself 3 times. So that will be 10 raised to power 3. 10,000 has 4 zeros. That will be 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. And that is 10 raised to power 4. 100,000 has 5 zeros. Okay, so that will be 10 in 5 places multiplying by itself, not adding. Okay, so that will be 10 raised to power 5. And the same thing goes for 1 million. So which means 10 is multiplying itself 6 times, okay? Multiplying by itself 6 times, so that will be 10 raised to power 6. So in essence, this is what we call powers of 10. So I hope you understand that. So now let's move on to multiplying by powers of 10. Now when multiplying by powers of 10, you count from the decimal points to the right. Multiplying by powers of 10. Okay, when multiplying any decimal numbers by powers of 10, when multiplying any decimal number by powers of 10, count from the decimal points to the right. Okay, when multiplying any decimal number by powers of 10, count from the decimal points to the right. Now, you will also learn dividing by powers of 10. When dividing by powers of 10, count from the decimal point to the left. So in essence, multiplication and division of decimals by powers of 10 is very easy. Now let's look at these examples, okay? The first one, 2.4 times 100. So I want you to pay attention. 2.4 is a decimal number, okay? So we want to multiply by powers of 10. We'll be counting from the decimal points. We'll be shifting the decimal point. How many times? 2 places to the right because 100 has 2 zeros. So we'll be counting twice to the right. Anytime you're multiplying, count to the right. When multiplying, count to the right. When dividing, count to the left. Multiplying, count to the right. So there's a song that comes like that, so you can always remember. Multiplying, count to the right. When dividing, count to the left. Multiplying, count to the right. When dividing, count to the left. Multiplying, count to the right. When dividing, count to the left. Okay, So now, how many times are we going to count to the right? Because 100 has two zeros, okay? So now let's count from the decimal point to the right. We'll be moving the decimal point twice. 1, 2. We have moved the decimal point outside. So for this empty space, you put 0. So it means the answer is equal to 240. So decimal point has been shifted outside. So now look at the next example. What if I have 2.139 and you're going to multiply by 100? So you do the same thing. 2.139, count 2 zeros to the right because 100 has 2 zeros. So count twice. 1, 2, which means our decimal point has been shifted to this place. So this is where we stopped. So which means that's where our decimal point will be. Okay, this is where our decimal point will be. So that will be 213.9. So I'm going to give you another example. So what if it is just 7.2 times 10,000? Now 10,000 has 4 zeros, so it is 10 raised to power 4. Okay, so you're going to count 4. So 7.2, count 4. Count 4 times, shifting the decimal point to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So which means decimal point has been shifted outside. So these empty spaces, fill them up with 0. So the answer is 72,000. Now let's get the last example for this class. So now what are we going to do? Let's multiply 56,107. Okay. So I'll be having like 5.61079 times 1,000. So you can see that 1,000 has 3 zeros. So how many times are we going to count to the right? 3. So from the decimal point, always count from the decimal point to the right when multiplying. 1, 2, then 3. So our decimal point has been shifted to this new place. So it means the answer is 5610.79. So this is how simple it is to multiply by powers of 10. I hope you enjoyed that. Now let's move on to multiplying or dividing by powers of 10. So that's the second or the third concept you'll be learning in this class. Okay, dividing by powers of 10. So now when dividing by powers of 10, you count from the decimal point to the left. Multiplying, count to the right. When dividing, count to the left. Multiplying, count to the right. And when dividing, you count to the left. Okay, so now what if you have something like 6.8 divided by 100? So that is equal to 6.8 over 100. So from the decimal point, you count to the left. When dividing, you count you count twice. So that is 1 and 2. So decimal points will be fixed here. So what happens to the empty space right here? Write 0. And to the left, you can't leave it empty so that we won't just have 0.068, which will be our answer, but we need to introduce 0 to the left. So the answer is 0.068. So now look at the next question. What if we have 139.7 divided by, let's say, we're going to divide by 10,000. So now we'll have 139.7. Now let's count from the decimal points to the left. We have 10,000. That's 4 zeros. So we're going to count from the decimal point to the left-hand side. How many are we going to count? Now 10,000 has 4 zeros, so we'll be counting 4 times. Start from the decimal point to the left. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Decimal point will be here. Now it has been shifted from this present place to the left. So what happens to this empty space? Fill it up with 0. Then to your left, introduce 0. So the answer is equal to 0.01397. So now look at the next one. Okay, look at the next one, which is number 3, which is going to be the last one. So what if I have 3,719.5 divided by 100? So you can see that 100 has only 2 zeros. So when dividing, count to the left. So now from the decimal points, count twice to the left. 1, 2. So decimal points has been shifted to this new place where we stopped counting. So our answer will be 37.195. We have shifted the decimal point. It will no longer be in the former place, but in this new place. So I hope you enjoyed this class on powers of 10, multiplying by powers of 10, dividing by powers of 10. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like, share, comment. Now, I want you to drop this in the comment section. What is the answer to this question? When you have 41.37 times 100, what is the answer to this question? So drop your answer in the comment section. Thank you for attending the class. Have a wonderful time. I'll see you next time.